Hey, welcome to the Higher Ed AV podcast. My name is Joe Way, and I am your host. And boy, do we have a good one for you today. I'm going solo today. Because I'm setting up some things for everybody that's going to be a little bit unique. That's coming over the next couple of months. So there's going to be some transitions coming on the podcast. Yes, I will do a. I will be doing some solo things. I'm going to bring in some interesting guests, and that means that I'm going way back in my career, and I'm going to do kind of a journey through my career, ways, lessons learned, failures that I've had, things that kind of got me to where I am, become the person I am. So I've got some really exciting things. To be honest, there's going to be some that are a little bit scary that are going to be coming. And I'm going to be transitioning into the podcast a little bit that you've probably seen for a while, and doing some kind of themed groupings of shows that will be heading up. So I'm going to be doing about a 6-week thing, April into May, and then we'll do pre-InfoComm the end of May into June, and then out from there. So already kind of planned out the next few months, but so I'm really excited about it. But I'm starting at the end as I go through this series, and that has to do with awards ceremonies. We know the Higher Ed AV Awards are coming up, and so I wanted to take some time and just talk about it for a minute. Anyone who listens to this, if you are going to submit or you're interested, I might help you win. Maybe. No promises. That to be said, let's take a little bit of time out. I need to do a cheers here for everybody when I got my Guinness here, because today is St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing my Irish Lions. I know I'm an Aston Villa football fan. Justin Dawson gave me this jersey. It is for the Aston Villa fan club that's in Ireland. So I've got that. I had my Dublin City University sweatshirt on earlier. And of course, I turned my wall green behind me today. Which is pretty exciting. And I'm just having a little bit of fun, a little Guinness. And I'm recording this after just did a full day's thing. Been working since about 6 o'clock this morning. We're done. And I'm just going to relax, and I'm recording this episode I meant to do yesterday, but life got in the way. So there you go. We'll cheer sláinte to everybody. How about that? I did remember sláinte. So awards. I'll be honest. There's obviously awards by just about every single publication that exists in our AV industry. It's about every one of them does some type of award in some form or another. And there are different kinds of awards. There are some that are public voting, which is like AV Nation's People's Choice, and Raves are a you nominate, and then it goes to a public vote. There are some that are done by judging panels, which is like the AV Awards America, AV Awards Europe. Higher Ed AV Awards are a judging panel type as well. And there are some that are just given, that are more editorial. That would be like the SCN Hall of Fame. Obviously, still very, very blessed to be in that club, as well as commercial integrators, 40 under 40, and SCN's the 9. I think of AV Technologies, kind of best ofs and kind of project here. So is more of an editorial decision and given away in that way. So there's kind of those 3 different buckets. They all work actually very similar in order to win, even though they're judged a little bit differently. I will say, obviously, I've been very blessed that either myself personally, or a project that I worked on, or HETMA, or school, or some of my team have probably been awarded just about for from just about every single organization that there is. So I'm going to come at this with a lot of experience. That said, I've also served as a judge on a number of these as well. I've done some best of show judging at the different conferences. Obviously, I've been a judge for AV Awards and the panel. And of course, I now organize the Higher Ed AV Awards. It was started 4 years ago. This InfoComm will be the 4th year of the Higher Ed AV Awards. So I got those 4 unique ways of looking at it, of having been nommed, having been a winner, having judged, and as an organizer. And so I get all the time, we're going to be, right now, award nominations are open for the Higher Ed AV Awards. And so I wanted to take a moment just to kind of like, people always go, hey, I want to do a nomination, whatever. And sometimes people just think going and nominating and they, do you think I have a chance to win? Or do you think I've been good enough? Or do you think like, or vice versa, people will go, hey, how do you win? Is it a pay to play or how do you do this? And I'm glad to say, honestly, I think our industry has a lot of integrity, that not many are pay to plays. There are some where obviously it costs money to put these things on. So often there is a fee to enter. Because it costs time, right? And it's effort, and awards take it. So that's, we sit there at the Higher Ed AV Awards, we rent out a theater for an entire evening. It is a loss leader. We lose money doing these awards, but we do it because we want to celebrate the accomplishments of our people. And so it's like, yeah, we collect a fee. That fee barely even covers the cost of the people's dinner and the stuff, right? It's more just got to collect it to help be able to, not lose a ton, but also it's going to be some little barrier to entry. That said, all the People Awards for the Higher Ed AV Awards are free. It's the projects. But if you have a project and you work in higher ed, reach out. We do have a coupon code for you. But if you're being put in by an integrator, sponsored by an integrator or a manufacturer for products or projects by an integrator, those do have a fee. So, but that just goes to cover the cost of the event. And I would say all the others are that way too. There are numbers that you put in, you got to pay the fee. And that's, and that just goes to cover the cost for that. And there are some that are free. And those usually are just a little bit different. Those are usually the public ones and stuff like that. Okay. So that's a little bit there. And so I wanted to just kind of spend a few minutes talking about the things that I have noticed on all sides of it in order to help you win. Well, how about this? How about at least put in a better nomination? Okay. Now I'm going to speak through the lens more of the Higher Ed AV Awards because this is the Higher Ed AV podcast. And of course, nominations are open and I encourage you all to put nominations in. But a lot of what I'm going to say applies to other things as well, some of the other awards. And if I kind of think while I'm talking, I might throw a little extra in there and talk about it in those terms too. All right. So I will say that more than not, I'm going to just do a knock on myself, that not every winner is always the best in the category. How about that? And that would even apply even times I've won. And then there are times where I sit there and go, the best that I judged didn't win. So what's the difference? Where did that, where is that difference? Because not every judge goes, oh, this is the first one, this is the second. In fact, that's why there's a panel, right? There's a panel because people are going to disagree a little bit. They're going to disagree on where they think, what appeals to them and all of that. But I can say one truth, and that is the strength of the nomination carries much more weight than anything else. And I don't mean who's nominating you. I mean the nomination itself. That is, if you are going to do it, and I have seen this so many times, and I've had this. I've seen manufacturers go, oh, the Higher Ed Awards, I feel like, we can't not enter. And so they go through the motions, and then they go, wait, how come we didn't win, or how come we only got like bronze, silver award or whatever compared to best in class, on the scoring and all that. And toward the end, maybe I'll go through how the scoring works with the Higher DB Award specific. So hang around to the end on that if you want to know more, or you just go to higherdbawards.com and tell you more there. But that being said, I get that all the time, that people go, oh, I entered. I just thought that means I now get the trophy and I get to put it at my booth. And so why did I not get the top, or why didn't I not? And I will say the awards that have credibility means they were judged against what was put in. So for example, the Higher AV Awards, we are only, and it specifically said in the judging areas, that you can only take into account information that is presented in the nomination. Let me say that again. And this is also how I judge when I am serving as a judge on other panels and other awards, because I do recuse myself from the Higher AV Awards. I do recuse myself. I should say, if there has been a tie, I have been a deciding factor in a tie. How about that? I would look at it and kind of would do it. But here's how I do it. I say, and I do this no matter what, I go, the information in front of me is all I can know and do. And that takes away favoritism or personal knowledge, right? And because if someone I know or it, submits something, I naturally have a natural attraction to it, right? And there could be another project that's somewhere overseas and I don't know anything about the people or the thing. And so rather than just saying, I'm going to vote for my friends, or I'm going to vote for people who are HETMA members, I'm going to vote for this, I can only take what's in front of me. Manufacturers, you make this mistake all the time and you think that it's a pay to play. You think you pay the nomination and you put it in and now you get the little trophy and you are now best in class, or you are won best in show, or whatever it is. And that is not the right way to do it. So when you have a pen and you look at it and you go, okay, what is the information that I have? And what is the question asking for? For example, in the Higher AV Awards, one thing we ask for is the description. I'm actually going to bring it up over here. So again, the quality, this is the AV Higher AV. This is, I should have, a real host would have opened this up before. There we go. Submit a nomination. 98 days away. That's it. 89 days away. All right. So accept cookies. Yes. So if I were to apply now, what you're going to see, I got to put all that stuff in. So okay, all right. Now, if you go in and go into to judge to submit, what you're going to find out is that there are various categories, right? We do it based on submit, a description of the of what your project is. We put in, for example, so it'll go, okay, here we go. Categories. I'm going to go overview, basic information schedule, submission. I'm actually on the back end over here. I should actually screen share this if you guys want to know. All right, so here's how it works. And there's different, so for the Higher AV Award and some of the other ones I've known, there are different percentages to each thing, and hopefully they are put publicly. I know we do put it publicly as well. You put your name in. You put in executive summary, and I will see people who will go, this is a wireless sharing device. Or they use marketing mumbo jumbo. This is the best script sharing device that has ever been on the market and will change higher ed forever. Okay, no, executive summary is we create a device that solves a problem because we've heard our customers say XYZ, this is what does it, and here's the proof. That's how you say it, what solutions you're solving. So notice the difference in those three things. And so what happens is when you judge what's in front of you, you can now judge against. And I give that a score, and you say, okay, where did this go? And I'll just say what I do it. I typically, when there's multiple when I have multiple things, I kind of take the first one, relax, and again, there's no right or wrong to it, and I give it like kind of the middle. And then I know when I go to the next one, was that a better submission or a worse submission? And then was the quality of it? And it's not just how you write it, but what was presented in it, right? Because when you go to like classroom upgrade, how do you judge a classroom upgrade against a classroom upgrade? But you can, so you got to tell the story. So then you got executive summary. That's it. Then you have detailed overview. What was actually done? Or if it's a person category, what did they actually do? And for Higher AV Awards specifically, we're very time bound. What did they actually do in that year? Why does that person or that project deserve to win that year? Right? And I think because a lot of times you can have people who are very, very worthy. Maybe it wasn't their year, though. Maybe last year was their year or the year before. I don't know. Maybe next year is going to be the year. Maybe they're better for Rising Star than AV Professional of the Year. I don't know. Right? But these are things, so you really go into that detail. If it says allows 500 characters, there better be 490 characters. Spend the time doing it. Give me all the information that is not a cut and paste off the product SKU webpage. Give me what it does and why it's good for higher ed. And again, if I were going to a different awards, what is good? What publication is putting that awards on? That publication has an audience. That audience is who you're submitting for. I should say that again. I remember that. Who is that audience? Because that audience is who you are submitting for. Higher Ed AV Awards, you're submitting for a higher ed judging panel. Why do we care? Okay. Why do we care? If I'm going for something else, I'm doing a commercial integrator thing, or if I'm doing AV Awards, well, they have a different audience. Who is their audience? Manufacturers, integrators. I mean, now, obviously, end users are growing, but I'll look at the judging panel. What do they care about, right? And that's how you write it. Write it to who's judging. Write it to the publication and why they care, right? The publication is selecting judges that align with their strategic direction. Know your audience and write to your audience. Then the next thing in the Higher Ed AV Awards, we then have something that says we want to know impact to higher ed. Why did this matter? Why did it matter to the vertical itself? Notice the difference. It says impact to the higher ed vertical. There's going to be a place for the school, right? That was already the detailed overview. That was your executive summary. That was whatever. Now, why does this matter to higher ed in general? Okay. Next, why does it even matter to the AV industry at all? I will tell you for the Higher Ed AV Awards, we do a different scale. The percentage of value to AV industry is less than the percentage of value to higher ed vertical because we are Higher Ed AV Awards. There might be a different one that means something. And I'll tell you, when I judge other awards things, if I'm judging the education award, right, education project, I want to know, why does this matter to education? It could be a great project, but why does it actually matter to education? But then if I'm doing a different project or doing a live events thing, why does it matter to the audience that's attending the live event? That's what I'm looking at. And it's that vertical view. So we have, why does it matter to higher ed vertical? Why does it matter to the AV industry? And I will tell you this, so those who are looking to come in to the Higher Ed AV Awards, I will tell you this is a very high percentage, this next one, and that is reference. Who is doing it? And often, even the other awards, if an integrator is doing it, but who is vouching for it? Manufacturer, even you put in your device, who is matters, or who is actually impacted by it? Who can vouch for it? So this is also a difference with higher ed, just being honest. A lot of times new products don't always win best in class in higher ed AV awards. They might win in other awards, but in here, they may not necessarily Because if you haven't put it in anywhere, if you just released it at InfoComm and you're trying to submit it for a best whatever, you're not going to get the reference points unless you're willing to put a reference down where maybe you had a school that had it under NDA and they're willing to vouch for it. And obviously, almost judging, it's private until after the results, and then it becomes public. So if you're doing it at InfoComm, it may then become public at that point. So I should take it back. New products can win if the reference is maybe someone who had it in trial, right? And you got to put them down, and you got to know, why do they say this is great? Put all that information. Get a testimonial. Reference doesn't just mean name and phone number and email. Why does it matter to them? Next, in the Higher AV Awards, we have actually space for 2 more. I think we're the only ones that do 3 references. I've seen some that kind of do 1, which is common. It's nominee or nominator, so those things carry weight. We do 3. I will tell you, to get a best in class, because now it technically says 2 and 3 are optional. They are optional, but you won't get the highest score because they count for 5% each. I believe it's 5%, give or take. Okay, so that means if we are scoring to get a best in class, you need at least a 90, and you don't fill out those last 2, the max you could even get is a 90, so you gotta get perfect on everything else, right? So do the math there. So put them down and make them good. Again, sometimes it's harder to do, but again, that's the way it is. And I've seen that too when I've judged other awards, is sometimes we'll do a great one all from the marketing point of view, or the sales guy is the one who's putting it all together. The sales girl's the one putting it all together. But there's nothing that shows impact as to who this makes a difference for and what is their name. Put them down. I'll say we don't follow, I don't know. Maybe some judges do follow up because you got to put the information down there. I don't think I have. I've never looked at a reference and followed up and to actually check it. But I see the testimony. I assume that they're not going to put someone down that. Maybe I shouldn't assume that. I don't know. And then supporting documentation. Do you have a case study PDF? Do you have pictures of the project? Do you have pictures of the product? Do you have a picture of the person being nominated? Right? Because if you don't put the picture of the person being nominated or them in action, how are we supposed to send the press release afterwards? How are we supposed to then tweet out that you won? With just text, it's not exciting. Fill all that out. Put down also under the entry name and your information, put your socials down. John, right? What are your company socials? You want to look good as a sales rep saying your product won. Let us tag you on LinkedIn with it, right? We will do that, but we need the information. You can't make the publication go find it. Now, some will, some have paid staff, some go and do it, but give us the information that we can now help celebrate you when you win, right? That's it. So a strong nomination starts by closely following the awards criteria, right? What do the categories say? And fill it out to the max. Because when I've got 5 or 10 different submissions for the same thing, and I want to go for top, well, those are the differentiators, right? And so Hard to Be Award, again, some of them, and I'll tell you some of the ones I've judged, it's only the top score and that's it. Hard to Be Awards, we do it differently. For projects and products, they are judged against themselves. Okay, so your submission as it is judged against yourself. So you either get a best in class, you get a gold award, you get a silver award, or you get nothing. And by the way, people have gotten nothing. And they ask me, wait, well, do I get a refund? No, what you get to do is fill out your nomination better next time. And I've seen products that I use get a nothing. And it's because, to be fair in judging, you can't be a pay to play. You just can't. And so take the time to do it right. And that'll be the differentiator. Because here's the thing, the top score, now we only give a top project of the year and a top product of the year, which is the highest score from all of the categories under. So all of the product categories and all of the project categories, right? And then we do a top. But technically, we will tweet out, let's say we get, 4 or 5 entries, 6 entries for classroom upgrade, right? The highest score becomes, the one that won classroom upgrade of the year, right? We've thought this year to possibly even do a secondary certificate for the top of the category. I don't know yet. We're going to figure that out. Depends on how many nominations that come in for each one. And then still do our overall product and project of the year. And of course, maybe professional of the year and all that stuff. Again, and if you're nominating for a person, it still applies. It all applies, right? I will say a little side note. If you are a public voting one, right, it's where maybe each round and there's a certain date, you got to get all your friends and family and coworkers and industry friends to go vote for you. I've been on the winning and losing side of those. And I will tell you that network means a lot, but also the new people have a much higher chance of winning. It is rare to win those twice. There is kind of a sweet spot in public voting ones. You've got to be known well enough as an industry expert, yet not be the one who always gets all the awards. I will say, I don't know, but if I look at the last few years worth of winners across a lot of these various platforms, that seems to be the secret sauce. Is this was your year. You got it. You've deserved it. You've earned your stripes. You've built enough of a rapport, because it does come down to votes. You need enough people know who you are and also respect your work and want to see you succeed. People do want to see you win, and they want to see you succeed. So that's it. Maybe when they come back around for public ones, I'll do a couple extra drop-ins on that. But back to the HEBE Awards. Again, it all comes down to, are you filling out fully the criteria being asked of you? Because as a judge, that's all I'm doing. I've got a box that says, impact of the higher ed vertical, and I'm scoring it from 1 to 10. If you've got a great submission and I go, yes, that made a difference and you proved it to me, 10. The next one could do exactly the same. They proved it to me, 10. They're all going to be a little bit different. I don't necessarily have to judge them against one another. I look at that section. But if you did the bare minimum, all right, well, then that's a 3. You cost yourself, right? So think about it. And also think of each section specifically. Each section gets its own point value. In the Higher AV Awards, each section has a percentage. Look it up. I think it's on the front page. Guess what? If you don't, and you leave points on the table, then don't come asking why you got silvers when you could have got gold, and the project might have actually deserved to be. All right. So there we go. So I'll say, the most effective nominations are specific. There's also no vague praise. There's no marketing mumbo jumbo. There's, I don't want it to feel like I just sat through a 45-minute PowerPoint sales pitch. I want to know what it is, a clear example of how the nominee accomplished something, why, how, give that to me, and what, why it matters, right? The great nominations focus on impact rather than activity. Impact rather than activity. I'll say it's not enough just to list people. Like when it comes to the people ones, don't just list what they did. Show what was changed because of them, right? Who benefited because of that person, especially on the people awards. How would the industry be different if that person wasn't part of it? And how did it change because they were? That's what you want to put in. Explain that. Why did it stand out? What was the before and what was the after? That's great, actually, for projects and people. That's great. But projects and products, but really goes a long way when you're talking about people. Because I'll tell you, So people on the Higher AV Awards are judged against one another. Okay. We don't go, you are a gold person. Like we do rank products, right? Gold, silver, best in class, nothing, whatever. People, though, are judged. So they are given a point score. The highest point wins, period. There's only one AV professional of the year. There's one rising star of the year. There's one manager of the year. There's one higher ed ally of the year. That's it. You need to say why they made a difference and in that year. Remember, these are time bound. I have seen people put in, when I've judged things before, where they will put in something, an example of how they mentored them when they were getting their starting in the career. Well, that doesn't work for the 2024 awards because they mentored you 20 years ago. It makes them a great person. It has a whole lot of value, but it's not according to what I'm supposed to be judging. So why was it different because of them, right? The best submissions tell a story. They give context. They show the challenge. They explain, the nominee's role. What did it end in? Why? What was the influence in it? What made it memorable? Like, I want to walk away from judging too. Remember, judges give, it's about 30 hours worth of work over 4 weeks to judge all these things. And they're volunteering. Okay. Judges are typically volunteers. I've had them where it's a stipend. It's normally volunteer, or they'll pick up a dinner at the thing for us or whatever. You do it for the honor of doing it. That said, what was I going to say? Make me remember what you did. I want to remember in the positive. I like walking away from judging something and going, hey, you should see this thing. Now, you can't say anything until after it's over, but I want to say, hey, did you see this? Do you know what this is? Right? Like, this is special. This means something. And so that to me is really where the biggest differences are. Huge differences when I see those types of things. So yes, make me remember you. How did you influence the life? Like, especially if you're nominating for someone, we do allow self-nominations. Okay. I've self-nominated myself for stuff. Don't feel bad. I put my own projects in. I know people go, oh, I feel bad. I don't want to nominate myself. Well, nominate yourself. If you don't stand up for yourself, who will? Right? Stand up. But you still need references. So fine, you can go to your boss, you can go to your coworkers and say, I really think I qualify for, I look at what I programmed. I think I was the best programmer engineer this year. Will you vouch for me? I'm going to write up the nomination, but can I use you as a reference? Will you give me a quote and how I made a difference? Throw it down. Self-nominate. You can do that. And don't feel ashamed by it. Stand up for yourself. So you go back to your school and you go, look, even if you were only a finalist, okay, great. You've got that now, even if you don't win. So I encourage you to do that. Take the testimonials with measurable benefits, lasting change. Get some great quotes. I know I just said quotes. God, quotes go far. Because when I walk away and I'm judging something, I love seeing quotes. Or because I just remember it, right? And then because a lot of times you judge and then the results aren't out for a month or two. And then when I see that brand or I see that project, oh yeah, that's the one where the person said blah, blah, blah. And I love that. Also, when I'm up on the Higher AV Awards this year and I'm up on stage emceeing, I would love to have a quote or two. If we get these things and the judges' comments are, hey, this was, I saw this was great. And I think I put that in the judging form this year, is to what were your thoughts? Is there something that stuck out to you, so that on stage we want to say that. That's great for your marketing later too, especially if you're a manufacturer and integrator. That's great for your stuff. Things I say on stage, use it, tweet it, So evidence definitely, as I'm saying, makes it stronger. The more concise the evidence, measurable, testimonials, change, quotes, all of that stuff, influence. I'm kind of going in circles now. I think you're getting it. Also, the right nominators can matter. Um, I don't think it matters a lot. Like, so for example, if you're an integrator and you're putting in a ton of entries, we get it. We also appreciate it. Actually, to be honest, an integrator that submits in 4, 5, 6 different categories, all throughout AVI SPL, right? They won like 8 or 9 things the last year, maybe even more than that. And it makes you just remember them, right? It's like I don't know what categories you won, but boy, I remember you made an influence in our vertical because you won a ton of things. So that there is value just in that, and if you're trying to influence a vertical, I mean, if you're a manufacturer and you do some device, whatever the type of device it is, a microphone or whatever, there's probably 3 or 4 ways. Like, okay, let's do a microphone, for example. I think there's only one microphone category, but that doesn't mean that we don't use your microphone for hybrid learning. Maybe the collaboration room. If you do a video bar, could you be a video bar product? And could you also be collaboration space and campus-wide upgrade? And all right, you could get 3 or 4 different areas of submission. You just got to think out the box a little bit. And that just does so much. Plus, you have more chance to win more things, but which is better marketing, right? You get to use it all year and you get our little logo. But it does go far in the minds of the judges and the attendees. Remember, we get 300 attendees. I think we're going to sell out this year at 280. We're doing it in the Cabaret Theater. We're going to sell out about 280. Makes a difference. Totally makes a difference by far. Okay. So just know that when we see you walking up on stage 8 times, we remember. Okay. I think I've even put some of the awards out of order just so to save some people from having to walk up and down 10 times. I'm like, while you're up here, grab it for this project too, because you knocked it out of the park. So that's the great thing there. That to be said, the nominators, if you worked on the project, it does go better. I understand some of these are put in by your central marketing department somewhere, and it's the checkbox, it's InfoComm. We have to enter the Higher IV awards, and we have to enter so-and-so's best in show, and we have to enter so-and-so's best in show, and it becomes checklist. I get it. Still fill it out. Great. But use and find the people. Okay, so if you're a marketing person and you're the marketing person doing this, what I'm about to tell you, don't just say, okay, this project because we have a case study on it. Okay. Find the integrator who did it. Find the person on campus who oversaw the project. Find the end user there and get them to be your testimonial. Let them just get them on a 2-minute call or send them an email and go, will you give me 2 paragraphs worth of why this made a difference to you? And can you shoot me over a picture that I can upload? They'll do it, right? They would love to be able to go to their bosses and say, hey, look what we won, or look what we were a finalist for. That would be great. So that matters. Find those nominators, or I will say references. Really, references is kind of what I mean, not just nominators. And also different voices is good, right? Don't just find the 3 engineers who worked with you. Is there someone who was impacted by it? Is there a testimonial from a faculty member, the support desk, right? Think of people different in the chain. If you're an integrator on a project, maybe one of your references could be the manufacturer that you bought 200 devices of, right? And then maybe you guys can go in on another one and put that product that you put in and it goes into a product category. Be each other's, right? Show across, because those are the things that matter to us. And by the way, when we're sending this out later in our press releases, those are the things we're going to write up, those things that matter. Last, I will say it kind of, and I know I'm going 40. I did not expect, I really thought this was going to be a 10-minute episode. So obviously I had a lot to say here. Tone and audience awareness, final reviews all matter. Tone matters. It's got to be confident without being cocky. It's got to be credible and accessible to a wide audience of judges. It's got to be sincere. We can tell when it's marketing crap. We can also tell when you think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. We also can tell when you are very shy and you want to be in it, but you don't know how to say it. Throw it in Chat GPT. I mean, be honest. Throw it in and have someone read it for you. Be worthy of the win. confident with it, secure in it, know that you did great work and your work deserves to be honored. Check for clarity and accuracy, of course, right? Do the numbers actually true? And I hate to say it, basic things like this, spell checking. I know you're typing it out on a web thing. It does, web entries don't always show the little red squiggly line that it's something's misspelled. Throw it in Word first and then copy and paste it into it. There is nothing worse being a judge and catching just stupid spelling mistakes. I hate to say it, but it's a negative. It's like reading a resume where the person has a, an objective that doesn't even align to the job they're applying for, right? Like those are they're little things that are so easy to avoid, because when in the end, when there's 10 different things we're judging and each one's got a point, you lose just one in each of those areas, you now can't get a best in class, or it might cost you from being, AV Pro. Like those are things that just matter. So make sure, and very accessible when you do uploads. Don't just give me links, okay? There's another one. I'm gonna go on this. In the column, when it says, give me an example, don't put a link to another web page. I won't click it. I want all the information in front of me. I am in a portal where I am logged in for a certain amount of time. I've got the stuff up there. Sometimes those links don't even work inside the portals, by the way. Sometimes the hyperlinks don't work. And so you've got to be able to know, like, and I'm not going to copy. I've had ones where I can't even like copy and then go paste it in something else. And I'd like type it. So I've come to the, if you give me a link, I won't even look at it. I won't. And I'll just say, I'll assume that your entry in that box is a URL that told me nothing. And guess what you get? You get a 0 in that one. Now, I won't promise that all judges are that way, but I've just done too many of these things and I don't have the time, and I'm going through a ton of things. Now, that said, could you, under supporting documentation, upload a Word document or a PDF that says, here's more information? Yes, because maybe I do want to know more. Maybe I've got a tie and that could make a difference. So I'm not saying don't do it, but it can't be the description and just put it in there. And here's a link to the case study we did. No. That is a pet peeve of mine. I hate it. At least if it's a 500 character thing, write all 500 characters and at the end go, for more information here. Okay, that'll take, as long as I got it good enough. Because then I'm thinking, well, you already gave me everything I need, but I need more. So that, yes, I'm glad I thought about that. So now, as I'm at 43 minutes, Hard AV Awards are in 89 days. I'm excited. I don't even know who the nominations for the Hall of Fame are going to be yet, so that'll be coming soon. Early bird rates close on April 4th, so encourage you to put that in. All entries do close May 1st this year. The judging panel needs time, so get them in. I do want to talk about a couple of things. Hall of Fame. We do take nominations for Hall of Fame. It is a very specific thing where they really have to prove how the higher ed industry is different because of them. The Hall of Fame is not a Lifetime Achievement Award. Okay, let me say that again. It's not a Lifetime Achievement Award. You can have a Hall of Fame person that was a one-hit wonder. If the whole world, the higher ed vertical, is different because of something they did, they could qualify. And then we still judge against it. And then we end up getting, 2 or 3, I think it's 3 the people who work in higher ed or worked in higher ed, and then 1 who is an ally, a partner across outside of the higher ed vertical, but supports the higher ed vertical. And I will say on that is judged by the judges. But then there is a final percentage that goes to the board of directors. So clear on that. They do get the final, but they get a small percentage of that, just to make sure that's not hijacked at all. Not that any should be hijacked, but it is owned by HETMA, so they do get an editorial vote on that one. And then new this year, we're doing People's Choice Awards. I just thought this would be fun. These are 5 categories that mean absolutely nothing, and they're free to enter. They cost nothing. So People Awards are free. People's Choice Awards are free. Hall of Fame is free. Project and product have costs, unless for projects. If you are higher ed, we have a code for you. Reach out to me. Just do award. I think it's awards@higheradaviawards.com. And we'll send you that, or go on the HETMA community and we'll put that code in for you. So we're doing People's Choice Award, AV Smorgasbord, anything. It can be a person. It could be a product. It could be a thing that happened. It could be something funny from a conference. It could be a conference session you remembered. Anything goes in Smorgasbord, and it'll all be voted against each other. That's going to be a fun one. Buzzword of the year. All right. What buzzword are we throwing? What drinking games are we playing with those buzzwords? Defining moment of the year. Think about where your life was changed. Was there a podcast you were listening to? Was there an event you were at? Was there something that happened in your work? You could nominate yourself. A defining moment for you. Was there a defining moment for the vertical? And then the future is now, where things are going. That's a future award. Like, that's almost an emerging technology, I guess. And then RIP, dead to me. The Dead to Me Award. What needs to go? What needs to get out of here? It's out. VCRs are out. Or where are we pushing behind? We're going to give them a posthumous goodbye and never speak to it again. All right. So those are going to be fun. Put in. I can't wait to see those categories. So that's everything. There's a ton of stuff in there. I encourage you. And then also just come to the event. If you are part of the HETMA Higher Ed Summit at InfoComm on Monday and Tuesday of the 15th and 16th, you get to go for free. Okay. So free ticket to attend. You do need to fill out the form though, because it is limited. We moved it this year to the Cabaret Theater at the Westgate Hotel. The HETMA room block is at the Westgate. We don't have to go all the way across the strip this year. So that is fantastic. Drinks, dinner, all of that stuff, all included. Fun night, great celebrating everything our vertical does. So I'm excited about it. And I know that this is just a great way to kick off Higher Ed Week. Let's call it Higher Ed Week, InfoComm Week, because it is a Higher Ed Week, because we've got HETMA Higher Ed Summit, Higher Ed AV Awards, some booth, show floor tours, happy hours, morning coffees, podcasting, all of that stuff all week. HETMA brings it to you. Higher Ed AV brings it to you. Higher Ed AV Awards brings it to you. I'm pretty sure I'm done here. higheradavawards.com, higheradavawards.com. Register code HETMA at InfoCommshow.org, I believe. It might be .com. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this one. I did not think it was going to go this long. Yeah, all the opinions expressed here are mine. They're mine, but not of any of the sponsors of the show. Okay, definitely not. No one who wants to sue us. No one who thinks that, whatever. Hopefully, I put into perspective. I love my awards. I love winning awards. My fragile ego needs it. But I can say I definitely come from a place of experience being on all four sides as a nominee, a winner, a judge, and an awards organizer. So that to say, love you, fam. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Looking forward to the special things coming up over the next couple months. And as always, all the opinions expressed here, and I'll see those manifestations and blah, 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 blah. And I should get that on a recording and all that stuff. And if you did not like any of these opinions, there might be better ones next time. And there probably will be, because I might have someone smart on this show. That to say, bye-bye.